This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so continuing with Shaar Habechina, the gate of reflection, introspection, examination, and basically recognizing God in this incredible world around us. And he said that there are 7 basic categories through which we have this Bechina. We can recognize the God in this world. We're up to the Revi'it, so that's Perek Daled, the 4th chapter of Shaar Bechina, and that is where he discusses there's 7 parts to this chapter. And the 4th category is Siman HaChachma HaNir'eh. We have the same. We good place, guys? Siman HaChachma, the signs, the exhibits of wisdom, Hanira, which we see b'mine Shaar HaChayim, in the other types of animals. Mikitanam Va'ad Gidolam, from the smallest of animals up to the greatest of animals, the biggest of animals. Mehem ha'ma'ofef, there are those that fly. V'ha'shocher, and there are those that swim. V'ha'zochel, and those that crawl. V'ha'olech al arba, and those that go on 4. And we mentioned this last time. The human being is incredible, but I think we're, in a physical sense, we're far this, putting aside not spiritual, not intellectual. So in a physical sense, right, we're nothing. We're nothing compared to the animal. I think Rosh Shwadron used to joke around about the sports, right? Oh wow, this guy can run so fast, right? And a dog or a cat or a horse or a rat can't run faster than that, right? He can jump so, like when it comes to our physical prowess, and perhaps this is something that Hashem does in a way that we can help remain focused, that that's not what we are all about, right? But when it comes to seeing the wonders of God in the world, you look at the animal kingdom, it's absolutely astounding, right? You have animal, man's, oh, he climbed Everest. Okay, there are animals up there, right? Flying, it took all of this incredible engineering, and it is truly incredible engineering. I still can't figure out. I'm having problems carrying my 2 suitcases, and then the other 150 people have the same 2 suitcases, and then bang, we're up in the air, hurtling 600 miles an hour. I mean, it's astounding. But with all of that, right? There's no, right, we cannot mimic the movements of a fly, right? And all these other creatures, which are these little things with how many chromosomes do they have? Right? They just, the simple fly. I know in science they study the house fly because it only has, I think it is 30, I think it's 32 of whatever chromosomes altogether, right? And with that, right, it's incredible. You sneak up behind it, it knows it's gone, right? You try to catch in midair, right? If we could have a fighter jet that right, it's incredible. It's incredible. Mikatanam va'ad, from the smallest to the right, and how they all work together. Meaning how this one is eaten by that one, this one supports that. It's just this incredible, incredible interlocking chain of the most incredible animals. You go to the safari. My oldest son traveled. He went to did the safari in South Africa, and to just see the majesty of some of these animals, right? And then down to the smallest ones, and it's just absolutely incredible, right? And again, to think that all of this just came about randomly, random, right? And it's just, it's just, and there's such an incredible beauty when it comes to these animals. Also, it's just, it's like you said, right, Robin? We're thinking of you in Costa Rica, and all the amazing, amazing things that this world contains, and just yeah, and how everything is supported, everything manages to get its sustenance. Right? That's a famous Mishnah that we have in the end of Kedushin that I forgot. I think Rabbi Nehorai says, "I've never seen a deer, working as a merchant, or this one working as a carpenter, or this one working as that to earn right." And they are mitparnasin, and Hashem, you take care of their parnasa, and they were only created to serve me, so to speak, in order to help us. All these animals were created to help us serve Hashem. But our problem is that our actions get in the way, and right. But how this whole world just works together, and each thing has its means of sustenance. Right, mikatanam ad gadolam. You have the massive elephants and the hippos and the rhinos, and you have the smallest of animals, and they're all coexisting and surviving. It's incredible. Lefi hit chalkut, according to all of the differences, this whole plethora of tsurotam, of their shapes, midotam, and their ways, vishimusham, and the usage that we can get from them, v'hana atam, and what they bring to the v'ta'olatam ba'olam, and the good that they bring to the world, right? Each thing is part of this tapestry, and it's incredible. I was plugging in my car outside. For some reason, there are a bunch of snails that love that. Have you noticed that when you're walking with that? A bunch of snails that they just love that wall, right? And these little things, they're climbing up the wall, albeit slowly, right? But how do they do that, right? They're climbing up the wall, And I was thinking to myself, wow, the world needs snails, who knows for what? But ants and worms, they help to aerate, right? By their digging their colonies, they help to aerate the ground, allow things to grow. It's just this incredible, incredible tapestry. Commotion niskar, as it's mentioned, b'ma'ana, by the response, shochiach bo habore et Eov, that the Creator responded to Eov, the book of Job at the end. Hashem responds to him. Kedei la'iroto, in order to enlighten. Well, here's with the aleph. Here it means to arouse him, to bring this idea up into his consciousness. And the pasuk there says, "Mi yachin la'orev tzido," who prepares for the raven its sustenance. Ki yiladav, when the children el kel yishavu, where the children cry out to God that they're hungry, and Hashem manages, the worms come, whatever it is over there, right? How they are taken care of. V'sha'ar ma shesiper bo, and all the other things that he told Eov over there, miminei hachayot hamidbariot v'hayomiyot, from the different animals that are, the beasts in the wilderness, and those that are in the yam, and those that are in the sea, right? And we're still discovering to this day, right, what's going on deep down in the ocean, where the pressure is so great we can't hardly get down there. And finally, there are animals that are living down there and sustaining down there. It's just absolutely incredible.
There's actually on the news, there's like this submersible that took a trip down to the wreck of the Titanic, and it's like $250,000 per seat. It's like 5-person seat. They've lost contact with it, and now they have to try to rescue it, but we've never been down, never done a rescue.
Oh, there are people down in there.
There are people in there. But there are probably fish, like you said, that are down at that level, and they're just
swimming around,
going about their day,
Yeah. I mean, that is this thirst that humanity has to to explore, to see whether it's going up into space, right, or going down. I just hearing a program about space travel, right? How the body without gravity, so fluids end up, they call it puffy head chicken feet, because the fluids, right, end up not being pulled down by gravity, so it ends up, and the effect that has on the brain, that added pressure that it has on the brain. I mean, but we want to get up there and we want to know what's going on. It's this incredible, and we'll come to a little bit about that. This incredible human spirit of wanting to know, right? And as always, it can be channeled in the right direction, in wanting to know the creator, wanting to know our purpose, or it could just be right now. I mean, a lot of these things are fascinating to me. I love, but I'm not going to dedicate my life towards that. But for me, this Shaar Bechina is, I mean, I love this stuff, and it just, to me, it strengthens my emunah. The more I see about this world, the more I understand about the body, biology, all this. It's just, it's a real leap of faith to think that this just happened randomly. Besides the mathematical, virtual impossibility, but it's just, it's you have to be a real mamin, a real believer to be an atheist. You have to be really committed towards that. Yeah. That's number 4, this incredible, incredible animal kingdom that goes on all around us. The hachamishit, and the 5th category, siman hachachma nira b'tzmachim uv'motzaim, the incredible wisdom that is found in all of these different types of growths of these plants. I mean, again, when I was taking biology with Devorah that summer, what goes on in a single leaf, how that is creating this energy, the taking the sunlight, the chlorophyll there, and photosynthesis. I mean, it's not to be believed. The sophistication of a single leaf that we sow, just like just a leaf, but that's keeping us alive. That is creating this oxygen. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. And how about the food stuff that we have, right? Each one with a different color and a different flavor to make it that much more appetizing for us, right? And it comes, it's like when you go to the store, you can buy the big chocolate bars, you can buy the little ones, right? You have watermelons, right? And then you have something like oranges, right? Which it's so kind that it comes pre-sliced for you in these peel-off slices, right? And then you've got the little bite size. You have your cherries, you have your grapes. I mean, it's the plethora of what is given to us. It is just astounding. And all of this, of course, is perfectly natural. Perfectly natural. It all grows from the ground, right? That's perfectly natural. It grows from the ground, right? But were it to fall from the sky, then we'd say, oh, the manna revisited, that is a miracle. But it grows from the ground. That's normal. That's natural. Yeah, yeah. What was that kids movie? Meatballs.
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I think we took our grandkids to that. Right? But it's, the famous, I think Rav Dessler says this, imagine a child who was born in the midbar, born in the desert. So for 38, 39 years, this child only knows about man. And then he enters the land of Israel and food starts to grow from the ground. What's the reaction? It's miraculous. Food from the ground, it's a miracle. Food from the heavens, that's perfectly natural. It happens every day, twice on Friday, never on Shabbos. That's natural, right? And for us, we see food growing from the ground, and we say that's natural from the heavens. But neither one is any more astounding than the other. And that's what's going on all around us. And all these things that are growing. Hello, Cheryl. What? Let's show Noah page 1 over there in the book.
147.
147 in the book that I think you have. Hamuchanim l'tarakanat adam. And all of this is made. It's ready for help to help people. It's there for us. Va'ofanei to'alotav bahem al hitchalkut tivehem umizagehem v'kochotam. And each one, right, has its benefits. I'm just reading, right, make sure you have at least a handful of blueberries every day. The antioxidants of blueberries helps with this. And it's also fascinating. I was reading somewhere that the actual construction of many fruit, right? But when you look at a walnut, right? So that's good for the brain, right? It looks like a brain, right? And the tomato is good for the heart, right? And you've got these 4 chambers of your tomatoes. I mean, it's just you can't make this stuff up. It is just, you just open your eyes, and it's hard not to have this sense of absolute awe of this world. Right? And each one has a different nature, a different composition, and therefore has a different effect on us. I mean, even the drugs, right? They're all coming from natural things. I mean, just the potency that these things have. Uchvar hiskiru, and that's why there's this big push, and we want to save the rainforest, because all of these different remedies, medication, comes from all these different things that are still being found and discovered. Ukvar hiskiru hakadmonim b'sifreim, and our predecessors have already mentioned in their books, mina inyan, right? This idea, kafi hasagatam, according to that which they understand, kamoshe katuv, as it's written in the book of Malach, in the book of Kings, right, which is talking about Shlomo HaMelech, King Solomon, vayidaber ala eitzim, mina erez asher b'avanon, that he had this understanding. He had this understanding of how can they be utilized for what type of refuah, what type of healing, from whether it's the cedar in Lebanon, Vada Ezov, or the hyssop, that little bush, Asher Yotze Bekir, that grows out of a wall. And that's also something that always strikes me about the vegetation kingdom, right? Like, you see this street, you see this asphalt, right? And then there's this little blade of grass, right? Poking its way up, right? This tenacity for life, this thirst for life. And to me, that's something that we really need to learn from, to take in that attitude, that tenacity, that no matter what, it breaks through the concrete. It's just this world is bursting with life, with majesty, it's just incredible all around us. And just staying on this plant kingdom for another moment. God didn't need to make it. So you got to eat, so you eat. Right? We could be eating this gray, drab, tasteless, gruel, whatever it would be, and that's what we need to eat. But it's incredible, God's kindness, how it's this wonder world of colors, of tastes, of textures, right? When you're peeling an orange, it's already sending out its scent. It's spraying into the air to increase your appetite so you could fully appreciate it. I mean, it is beyond. V'hashishit, number 6, siman hachachma hanirah b'chachmot u'v'malachot u'v'poalot. The wisdom that we find in these different wisdoms, professions, and puolot, different things that we have created, that human beings have manufactured. Asher hechinan habora yibarach la'adam, that God has prepared them for man. Or there's a different text. Asher natnan habori barach b'leiv adam, that the Creator placed this in the heart of a person. And in Yiddish, the word for an idea, anybody, any Yiddish speakers? The word for an idea in Yiddish is an Einfall. Einfall. It falls in, exactly, right? In other words, in Yiddish, you have this built-in humility. That where did this idea come from, right? It fell in, and not to take away from those who do it and build it and do it, right? But to have the humility to recognize that Asher Natnana Bori Barach, that the Creator placed that Belev Adam into the heart of a person, Lahashlamat Takanato, in order to fulfill that which we need. Visibot teref chuko, whether it is our sustenance, Vishaar to'alotav hakololot v'hamit bododot, and all other of these types of needs, hakololot, those which are needed by all, right? Those types of professions or things that are needed by all, let's say agriculture, farming, right? Clothing, and v'hamit bododot, and that which is for individuals. Some need it, some don't need it, right? In my notes over here, they give an example of, polishing stones, right? No one needs a diamond, right? But people like diamonds, and people will pay lots of money for diamonds. They'll pay a lot to the people who take care of these diamonds. The Chavetz Chaim has a beautiful, beautiful approach, that all of the technological advancements are all there in order to increase our emunah. They're all there in order to help us to increase our faith. And he's talking about, of course, Chavetz Chaim lived until the 1930s, early 1930s. So the technology of that day was obviously far less than what we have today, right? But he speaks about, let's say, there's a medrash that by Har Sinai, every person heard their own individual voice, right? And until people had radios, right? Right? What did that mean? But all of a sudden, oh yeah, sure, it's one person speaking, but everyone's hearing it through. Right nowadays, everyone's hearing it through their own AirPods, right? Right? But it's one person speaking. It's one voice that's being heard individually, right? And on and on and on. We have the sages say there in the heavens there is an ayin roeh, an eye that sees. Right? Well, God's going to see what's going on down here. Well, yeah, we have spy satellites, right? That can read your license plate as you pull out of your garage without right? There's an ozen shomaat, right? The Mishnah says there's the ear that listens, right? Do you know why embassies all have these thick curtains?
So sound doesn't travel.
Yeah, but you're in a room with the windows closed, right?
those kind of receivers that you can stand outside and you can
You can stand outside, and the vibrations of a person's voice will cause the windows to vibrate, and that can be picked up. And from the vibrations of the window, we can understand, re-engineer what's being said. Right? That's what we can do. So the fact that there's an ozen shomat, there's an ear that hears, yeah, right? Everything. The Gemara Avodah Zarah says that ultimately, who will come as the witnesses about what a person did? The walls of their house. They are affected by all this. They've absorbed all of that. And, it creates this reality. So the Mishnah says there's an ayin roa, an eye that sees, ozen shamat, the ear that hears, v'chol divarecha b'sefer nichtavim, and all of your words are inscribed in a book. And I'm sure in the 1960s, 1970s, right, when everyone had their World Book Encyclopedia in their house with the 25 volumes or the Encyclopedia Britannica. I used to love my World Book Encyclopedia, the 25 books. I sit there reading through that. It's fascinating, right? So, like, how's everyone's words going to be written down in a sefer? And now we understand a thumb drive. A little thumb drive can hold every single word that everyone you ever know has ever spoken. That could be on a little thumb drive with plenty of memory, plenty of room to spare. Right? So all of these things, the Chavetz Chaim says, are all meant to, and we live in such a mobile world, right? I'm always amazed. I'm driving to shul, and I call a WhatsApp call, free, mind you, and I'm talking to my son in Israel, who's there with his phone by the Ciner, right? Now, when Nan and I first moved to Israel, if you wanted, by then it was already more advanced. When I was a student in Israel in 1979, 1980, to make an international call, you had to go to the post office. The post office is where they had these international lines, right? And now we just, right, WhatsApp, right, free call to someone wherever they are in the world. I called my son Shmuel's with his family in Israel now, right? I called him on Friday morning for Shabbos over there on WhatsApp, and he quickly switches to WhatsApp video, so I could also talk to the kids and see them swimming in a beautiful pool overlooking the Kinneret. Right? This is all, as I'm sitting in my office. Right? They tell the story of when this older woman says to her son, he says, "Mom, you're making a real lot of phone calls. It's getting expensive." No, it doesn't cost a thing. Look, it's not attached to the wall. It used to be it was attached to the wall. Now it's not attached to the wall, so it can't cost anything. Well, now in fact it doesn't cost anything, right? So in my mind, right, perhaps what is all of this teaching us, right? So we think tefillah, right, prayer, right? I'm over here, but yeah, wherever you are, talk to Hashem, communicate, right? Right? You can talk to anyone you want around the world, so it shouldn't surprise you that we can talk to God. We don't see him, we don't feel him in front of us, but yeah, right? We can talk around the world. Our words, right? And also the idea of the power of words. The words, it's not just, right, wherever the sound waves reach, right? It can go across the world, right? For the positive and also, right, tragically often for the negative, right? Once we say, like, something that I like to say, before you say it, you own it. Once you say it, it owns you, right? It takes on a life of its own, and And who knows where it goes? Something gets posted online, right? You quickly delete it. Someone got a screenshot. Someone got a screenshot. You can be rest assured, someone got a screenshot, and that's it. It can't. It can't. It does not disappear. Va'al zeh ramaz hakatuv, and this is what the pasuk alludes to again in Eov. Mi shat bituchot chachma, who has placed Mishat bituchot chachma. Who has placed the? Just one second. Omina talasech vivina. Who has given? What's bitachot chachma? How do they translate that?
Understanding to the mind.
Who has put wisdom in the inward parts?
Oh, toch, inwards.
Oh.
Okay, yes. Right? Ominatan l'sech vivina. Who's given this understanding to the heart? Va'amar, and it says in Mishlei, ki Hashem yitain chachma. God is the one who gives this wisdom. Mipiv, out from his mouth comes da'at, knowledge, utvuna, and understanding. That's the sixth category. V'hashvi'it, and the seventh category. Siman ha'chachma ha'nir'eh b'kfiyut ha'torah v'ha'chukim la'avod b'hem ha'bori yitala. The wisdom that is seen in the establishment of the laws of the Torah and its ordinances through which we serve the Creator. La'agia b'hem ha'shoked aleihem, that when a person is shoked, applies himself to them, that a person reaches lahanaot ha'olam hazeh, how a person gains benefit from it in this world, v'ligmul ha'olam haba ba'acharit, that a person gains not only in this world, but also in the world that comes afterwards. The pasuk says in Yeshayahu, Shamu Shmoa Eli, listen to me, v'achlu tov, and you will eat well in this world, v'tit aneg, and you will have this oneg, this pleasure, this enjoyment, b'deshen nafshechem, your soul will have this enjoyment. V'amar hatuaz necham, tilt your ears, u'lechu elai, come to me, shim'u, listen, u'techi nafshechem, and you will have life. Your nefesh, your soul will come to life. Utluyim bazeh inyanei haminhagim asher bahem sudar hanhagat shar haumot v'toalatam. And this even affects the general society, right? Meaning, based on this is much of the general non-Jewish society, right? In other words, there are laws, or there have been laws. Now we're hurtling towards anything goes, right? But there have been laws against, there still are, I think, against brothers and sisters getting married, things like that. Now, without a Torah, an argument could be made to engage in such close intimacy. How can one do that with anyone but a close family member? Right? I'm not being a proponent of that, right? It's actually absolutely prohibited. But I'm saying, if we're going in looking at this without any preconceived notions, so right, maybe it would be disgusting to think of engaging in intimacy with someone who's anything but one of your closest family members. But society has, I'm sorry?
Puts a different twist on stranger danger.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But society, right, based on the blueprint of the Torah, right? Society understands, and of course, the spiritual always works its way down into the physical. And in fact, if there is, in a marriage or mating, whatever we'll call it, within a family, so that is very, very unhealthy, and that genetically raises the chances for a lot of mishaps, right? And a lot of what's the term? Disorders, right? Yeah, when there's inbreeding, right? It's unhealthy, right? So spiritually, it is something, and that reflects its way down into the physical, right? But these are all blueprints that the Torah laid out, and that has become accepted across broad society. Is there any society that has anything but a 7-day week? Yeah, I wonder what happens in the tribes in the Amazon rainforest, if they have any sort, if every day is just the same, or if they do have these clusters of days that form a certain segment. I don't know, but to the best of my knowledge, in the world as we know it, right, there is no society that has anything. Yes, Cheryl.
When I was reading a book about Deep in the Russian Night, the author was saying that in Russia they changed the week so that it wasn't a 7-day week anymore, just so Jews could not observe the Sabbath.
They tried to, but I don't think it took. I think the
I think that
Soviets tried to do that,
I think they
but
did do that, or that's what I understood.
uh-huh, I don't know. Vehem omdim lahem b'makom haTorah b'nei olam bilvad, and that is what stands for them in the place of our Torah, which deals with the physical and the spiritual. For them it just becomes just societal. Kvar ne'amar, and we've already said ki madrigat hateva min haTorah, ki madrigat ha'eved me'adonav. The way that teva, nature, interacts with Torah is in the same manner as the way a servant interacts with its master, meaning that teva, nature, is subservient to Torah. They act according to the Torah. Like that, we have psukim along those lines. Serve Hashem your God, and He will bless your lechem, your bread, ve'et meimecha, right, and your waters. And illness will be taken away from your midst. V'amar v'yomer im shema tishma, if you will listen, l'kol Hashem elokecha, to the voice of Hashem your God, v'yashav einav ta'aseh, and that which is good in His eyes you will do, v'tavazantla, you will listen to mitzvotav, to His commandments, v'shamarta, you will observe kol chukav, all the ordinances, kol ha'machalash estan v'shloim losim alachim Hashem rofecha, all those maladies that I placed upon Egypt, I will not place upon you. I am Hashem, the one who heals you. Now, we don't see that. So I mentioned the Mishnah at the end of Kedushin before, right? That we don't see clearly at all that those who observe the Torah and those who don't, right, don't have it quite as well. That we don't see in our world today. We're a little bit too distant from that. The sign that we do see, fascinating, is what the Torah had said, where we see how nature is subjugated to the Torah, that before we returned to Israel, it was desolate, desolate, desolate. That's what the Navi had said, that it was a bracha that we have in the Torah, that the land will remain desolate, right? And once we returned to Israel, that is when the desert bloomed, and that is when, right, it all came together. So that is, I think, a very clear example of Teva being subservient, nature being subservient to Torah, that we do see with our own eyes. V'yesh mi shesover, there are those that say, the Mamar Chacham, that when the pasuk says in Mishlei, Chachmat, Banta, Beta, with wisdom God, you have built your house, meaning this world being the house of God. Chatzva amudeha shiva. You established these 7 pillars. So some say that that pasuk is a reference, as we had in our weekly Chumash class, that there are actually 7 Chumashim, not 5, because you've got Bereshit, Shmot, Vayikra, you have Bamidbar until Vayihi ben Soa, you have those 2 psukim Vayihi ben Soa, V'nucha Yomar, you have Bamidbar till the end, and you have Devarim. But he's saying that those that say that this pasuk, that there are these 7 pillars of wisdom, Shekivan al elo sheva pinot. That refers to these 7 categories through which we are able to see how Hashem has built this incredible bayit, this incredible world, world. Yeah, that it's referring to these 7 pillars through which Asher Zachana that we mentioned, through which we're able to appreciate, see, and become energized, enamored, in awe of Hashem in this world. Okay, my friends, good. We'll call it over here, and we'll pick up next week with Perek Hay, which is, well, which one should we focus on? And that's going to be focusing on humankind. Okay? That which we find in Adam, because even though, like we said, in a physical sense, the animals have us hands down, paws down, hoofs down, however you want to say it, but when it comes to the combination of the physical and the spiritual and the intellectual, then human beings are just incredible and astounding. Okay, my friends, will pick it up over there. Okay.
Thank you.
Laila Tov, Laila Tov.
Lila Toad.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, no classes tomorrow. Amen. Thank you.